Hello, beautiful people. I'm Michaela Curtis, and welcome to my channel where we talk about everything graduate school. It is officially late fall, which means that we are now in the heart of application season. I'm sure you are all just loving all of the essays and the applications and the letters of recommendations that you have to submit in order to make sure that your application is thoroughly complete before submitting. However, today we are going to talk about probably one of the most important parts of your entire application: interviews. Today, we are going to be discussing the main points of an interview and also what are the best ways that you can approach these interview questions. But before we get going, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Now, the main point of an interview for you is why have you chosen this school, program, degree, etc. And then what do you plan to do post-graduation once you have this degree? But the main thing for the interviewers during this is, who is this person? And would they be a good fit for our program? Now, this is especially true if you're going to a program that is paid for or is one that even pays you to go. So just keep in mind that something these interviewers need to question is, are you a good long-term investment for this program? So with that in mind, I wholeheartedly believe that aside from learning what an interview is about, there's no real way to study for an interview except to spend time with yourself, pondering why you have chosen this path and where you want to go with this degree post-graduation. Now, I want to give you a few tips on the best way to structure or set up your responses to these interview questions so that you both answer the question fully and honestly, but you also don't bore your interviewers. Tip number 1 is to prepare for your interview. Interviewers are partially looking for consistency between your application and how you can articulate your experiences and life goals in person. So be prepared to talk about any experience or even experiments you mention, because chances are they will ask. So read through all your application essays and any other correspondences you've had with the program. This is to be prepared to answer questions about anything you've written down, and also think of unique experiences outside what they already know that could also be pertinent to show them your unique characteristics and perspectives. Show them that you do stand out from the crowd. Tip number 2 is to be professional and concise. You should dress nice even if it's virtual, and if possible, try to take off work or school, or at least find a space that is not distracting with a simple background and good lighting, if this is possible. Also, have good manners. Be polite and say thank you before and after. And lastly, do not ramble or take too much time answering one question. This is not a monologue, but a dialogue during the interview. So give a concise answer to the point, but still thorough. Then allow the interviewer to either give another follow-up comment or question, or to continue the interview. The less you talk for each question, the more questions they can give, meaning the better they can get to know you and the better holistic grasp they get as to who you are. And lastly, tip number 3 is to know why you're doing this. Honestly, if you know who you are, where you're going, and why you're going down this path, the interviewers will pick that up. About 80% of your interview is going to be nonverbal, meaning that when they get online with you, or if they sit in person with you, they're going to be looking at your posture, they're going to be looking at your face and your facial expressions. They're also going to be looking at the way you just talk about these things. Are you excited about them? Or do you just kind of, yeah, I did this because it was something that needed to go onto my resume and it was a good experience. You can certainly tell the difference from that. And that's what they're going to do, is they're going to notice if you were doing something just to put it down on a resume, or if you were doing it because you genuinely want to give back to your community and you want to pursue this field. So it's not even really your words, but how you articulate them that really counts. When I was interviewing with Georgetown, I remember it was fairly average at first, but then they had, for some reason, asked me about a previous research experience from my undergrad. Shout out to McPherson. But the whole point was that I loved it. And I, before this experience, was not going to do a PhD. But after having this hands-on research, I realized just how much science rules, and it's so amazing. And I was like, I have to get a PhD. And so all of that excitement just bubbled up once I had started talking about this experience. That's how Georgetown got to know me. That's how they got to know that I truly am someone that I didn't just do the research to get a PhD. I did the research because I loved it, and I'm continuing the research because I loved it. As they were asking me about all of my previous experiences, they weren't just asking about these questions, but I was giving them a short answer, and then they were able to follow up a question, and it turned into this wonderful conversation where it just felt like people talking about research. And that was, to me, was so important during the interview, because remember, you're not just there for them to pick you. You are also there to pick them. You're getting to know these people to be in their program for years. So you want to be around people that you can have conversations with, that you can question, that can question you, and you have that dialogue. Keep that in mind as you're going through these interviews, that this isn't just for them, it's for you to get to know this program as well. And so that is why I say, like, be yourself, know why you're doing this, be concise and professional, and of course prepare for this interview, because if this question had come up and I had not maybe been the most well-versed on the research I'd previously done, this could have been a completely different interview. I must have done something right, because I'm the only individual that matriculated into the PhD Biochemistry and Molecular Biology program from both international and American students this year. Long story short, I don't exactly know why they had chosen me, but I do know that whatever the answer is, that the interview had a big part to play in it, because everything that they had asked me, I was passionate about what I had written down. I was passionate about my previous experiences, and I most certainly was confident when I was talking about that research project, because it's something that I had just enjoyed so thoroughly that it's really hard to forget. And so that is why I'm here, trying to help you along your educational journey to get to where you want to be, the same way that I have been fortunate enough to get to where I am today. I wish you the best of luck on your educational journey, and as always, thanks for watching!